The Baby Sefer Torah belonged to Rabbi Bruno Italiano, who was a Feldrabbiner, a military chaplain in the First World War. He went from campsite to campsite, and he would conduct services and give teaching and present sermons. And of course, he needed a Sefer Torah for the Torah services. And he can't schlep a great big thing with him, so he had this little baby. People needed their religious faith. They needed connection with their tradition. And they needed to feel that they were somehow sort of echoing their family life or their community life, even when they were in really, really difficult circumstances, dangerous situations, and far from home. So when war was over and peace was declared, the Baby Sefer Torah came home with Rabbi Bruno Italiano to some kind of normal life, and she found her home in the Hamburg Synagogue. But the First World War was not the last. There was still anti-Semitism of a very violent kind in Germany when the Nazis came to power. And one of the events was called Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass, which took place in many German cities and towns. It didn't happen by accident, it was planned and controlled, and it involved people being killed, Jewish homes being attacked, businesses being looted, and many kinds of buildings set on fire. And one of those was the Hamburg Synagogue. Eventually, Rabbi Bruno Italiano and his family had to flee for their lives. They rescued these scrolls, risked a lot to save our baby Sefer Torah and other Torah scrolls from not only the fire, but of course the water that was being sprayed on them to put the flames out. And so the next step on our baby's journey is to Paris. But in 1940, the Nazis invaded France and occupied Paris. So Rabbi Bruno Italiano and his family were not safe a second time, and nor was our baby Sefer Torah. This time, they made their way to England. But this Sefer Torah has been damaged. And this means that the letters are not all clear. And there is a rule that you cannot read in a Torah service from a Sefer which is not perfect. And the staining was caused by smoke, but also by the water from the hoses to put out the flames. What a story. I wanted to do something to restore her to life in an active, loving community. So I asked several people, rabbis, scribes. People said, you know, the kindest thing would be a decent burial. That's what we do with Jewish texts that are beyond use. I thought, no. She is not going through all of this just to go into the ground. So finally, I came across Bernard Benarroch, who is a Sofer Stam here in London at Golders Green. As soon as I unrolled on his dining room table, he fell in love with her just as I had done. So he said, I'll tell you what, I've heard about this new process. They've got this technique whereby you spray black and it will stick to letters that are already there. It won't stick to anything that isn't there. Sure enough, where there was ink, this spray ink had stuck, but where there wasn't any ink, there was nothing. And in total, there were 24 amudim, 24 columns where there was nothing or next to nothing. So on those 24 columns, we'll have to write it. And almost 9 months to the day, he said, she's ready. she's done. I'm just going to sew the rollers on. Would you like to come over and sew the last stitch? It was magnificent. It was really magnificent. It was about 100 years that we know about from the time that she was in the trenches or nearby to the time that she was back in my shul. And then we had a special celebration here where all the Sefer Torah, all the Torah scrolls from the ark we have already came out. And they made a guard of honor. And she was read for the first time since 1938. Because it's the first time that she was kosher again. And that's my stitch in there, look. It's easy to bury a Sefer Torah, or it's easy to put in a museum. People, oh, look at that, oh, what the Nazis did, oh, whatever. And I can go, oh, look what the Nazis did. But I can do, yep, and look what we did. You know, we did not take that lying down. So I think there are many things that we can learn from the journey of this baby Sefer Torah. First of all, we learn about how life goes up and down. She's not even a person, and look at the life she's had. I sometimes wish she could speak and tell us about the trenches and Kristallnacht. She herself has had this most amazing experience, and I think some of that is absorbed in the parchment itself. So when I read from the Baby Sefer, it's very, very poignant. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. I think it's also about the survival of the Jewish people. I mean, she has become a very, very tactile symbol of how the Jewish people can survive, how we can prevail. I don't even mind now that she is not perfect, because you know, there are bits that are quite hard to read, but there is something very beautiful in those scars, because we all have scars in our lives, we all have difficulty, we have to carry our pain. However old we are, however young we are, everybody has got some hardship that within themselves that they have to live with and make something from. And so I like that she is perfectly imperfect.